Good morning, dear students. Today we'll be discussing probably one of the very important topics, that is business process re-engineering, and how it helps businesses to gain competitive advantage and how it helps organizations. So, primarily, what business process re-engineering is, which is also known as BPR for short, it is basically a methodology and technique with which organizations radically change their business process with the aim of becoming more efficient and more modern. So, the business process re-engineering or BPR, it is an analysis and redesign of core business processes to achieve uh, you know it helps in achieving the substantial improvements in its performance, maybe productivity, quality and cost control. So what is the requirement, what is the need for BPR? So the business process is required to be re-engineered because of the following reason. That means organizations might explore reasons that whether they should go for a re-engineering or not, because the decision for going for re-engineering has to be taken very cautiously, as it involves time, cost as well as risk. So the first thing what BPR might target to is the process the company is using might have become outdated or holds no relevance in the current market scenario. So sometimes it so happens organizations are they are implementing and they are having old processes which are outdated in the market, and which through which they are losing their market, they are losing their customers. And this could be one of the need which might organization provoke which might provoke organization to go for BPR. Then often the subdivisions in the organization, it aims at improving their respective division performance and overlook the resultant effects on the other departments. So this might lead to the underperformance of the firm as a whole. So you organizations must analyze this thing, that all organization is as a system, and every system and department and division in the organization, they have to work in coordination. So uh, the focus on rest of the divisions and the division's performance, it should not be so that it will overlook the entire and resultant effects of other departments. So other say equal contribution from departments for the achievement of organization goal and for the growth of organization is very very essential. So if there is gap, if the overall output of all the departments is not same or is not what is required for the organization's growth, then again organizations might go for BPR. Then, due to departmentalization, each employee focuses on the performance of his respective department and may overlook the critical issues emerging in other areas of the firm. And therefore, the need for re engineering arises so that the role of employees could be broadened and shall be made more responsible towards the firm. So, due to departmentalization, each employee focuses on performance of his respective department, because when you are restricted, when you are more focused about your own department and your own task which is being assigned to you, so quite possible that it might result in overlooking the very important and crucial issues which are emerging in other areas of the firm. So therefore, which may lead to the overall degrowing of the organization, or it might lead into the you know losing customer or even losing market to the competitors. So again, this will call for BPR. The existing business process could be lengthy, time consuming, costly, obsolete. Therefore, is required to be redesigned to match it with its current business requirements. Generally, before the implementation of IT related processes in the organizations were having lengthy, time consuming and costly processes for processing of a particular activity in the organization. So with the BPR, with the BPR was required so as to achieve that efficiency and to achieve and to have a pace with their competitors in the market. The technology keeps on updating, and in order to catch up with it, re-engineering is a must. It is very very self-explainable point that because technology, anything which is technology based, it um, it updates so fast that organizations need to keep pace with it. So keeping pace with it until and unless your entire processes are not solely dependent on a technology which requires updation and requirement. So therefore you need to have technology updation for your organization, and this might call for BPR. Then process of BPR. uh, how do we go for it? So first, define objectives and framework. First of all, the objective of re-engineering must be defined in the quantitative and qualitative terms. The objectives are the end results and the management desires after the re-engineering. Once the objectives are defined, the need for change should be well communicated to the employees, because the success of BPR depends on the readiness of the employees to accept the change. Then identify customer needs. While redesigning the business processes, the need of the customers must be taken into prior consideration. The process shall be redesigned in such a way that it clearly provides the added value to the customer. One must take the following parameters into the consideration while you are identifying the customer needs. First, the type of the customer and customer groups. The customer which you are catering to, right? You need to have an idea about that, because until and unless you have the idea about the type of customers and the customer group you are serving, then the BPR has to be focused on the services and the processes which you are rendering to the customers. So there has to be a marginal and observable difference in what you are giving offering them before BPR and after BPR. So customers expected utilities in products and services. Sometimes it might happen that what customers require from a product, you are not offering them those products and services. Maybe because you are not having those technologies, those machines in order, and those processes which which might give that particular specification of that product and service to the customer. So in that case also, you need to identify what exactly the customer is expecting. Then customers requirement, buying habits, and custom consuming techniques, they tendencies. This is very important when you identify customer need, that you need to keep in mind that what is the purchasing behavior, buying habits, and what are the consuming tendencies of that particular product which you are offering to the customer. Then you also need to keep in track the customer problems and expectations. So, keeping all these things in mind, this becomes one of the crucial objectives for uh, going for whether to go for PPR or not. Then study the existing process. Before deciding on the changes to be made in the existing business process, one must analyze it carefully. The existing process provides a base for the new process, and hence, what and why of the new process can be well designed by studying in the right and wrongs of the business plan. So you need to have that particular idea that what my existing process what is giving, and if I go for PPR, what it will give. Because going for implementing altogether new systems in the organization will be very very costly to the organization, and if it is not giving you the desired results, your all investment will be you know uh, it will be all lost. Then formulate a redesigned business plan. Once the existing business process is studied thoroughly, the required changes are written down on a piece of paper and are converted into an ideal redesign process. So here all the changes are chalked down and the best among all the alternatives are selected. So organizations must go for formulating and redesigning business plan. So obviously they must create a say DPR, that how it is going to be affect the organization, and what are the results that will be generated out of it. Then implement the redesign. Finally, the changes that are implemented into the redesign plan to achieve the dramatic improvements. It is responsibility of both the management and the designer to operationalize the new process and gain the support from it. So, thus, the business process reengineering is collection of interrelated tasks or activities designed to accomplish the specified outcome. So this is the process of BPR. Now the question arises: what is HR's role in the re-engineering process? How HR is playing its role? So HR expertise can encompass a wide range of areas. So first is shaping the process. Although senior management may lay down the general guidelines and directions in the re-engineering effort that will take, HR often can play a major role in determining whether it will succeed or not. HR also can interview and evaluate candidates. Even as the process filters down through the organization, HR can play a key role in determining how team leaders and team members are selected. In creating job statements and role descriptions that reflect the new corporate order, since you are going for altogether a new process and new systems in the organization, so only plugging existing job descriptions into new position created from re-engineering, it isn't enough to use existing methodology to create new positions. Re-engineering requires serious introspection about what the company is trying to achieve and what job and role responsibilities will help and realize the goals. Then again, very important thing is working out compensation issues. Because pay scales and rewards must be structured to create the desired results. For example, a company that wants to focus on customer service must measure and compensate the workforce based on that particular criteria. So, likewise, HR must think about whether it should pay employees for specific tasks they should perform or offer skill based or knowledge based pay. Then training the new workforce. It is important to provide plenty of training on specific skills employees will need in the newly re-engineered company. But that teamwork, decision making, and trust building must also be has to be heavily emphasized over a period of time, and that will be done by HR only. Then molding the new corporate culture, because when the BP when you are implementing a new structure, new processes are coming into the organization, so it will automatically lead to building up a new corporate culture. So stories, ceremonies, awards, and rituals, we all know that they have a major impact on how people behave. So HR can alter thinking by helping from a new ethnography. It must be consistent throughout the organization, and it should be backed by plenty of symbolism. Yet the change won't occur overnight. It might take weeks or months before a real breakthrough in the thinking phase takes place. But HR has to, it has to it has to make its employees very comfortable, and very communication has to be very transparent related to that, and it has to harp on the say, it has to hammer on, keep on hammering until and unless the idea of the new corporate culture it gets synced in with the employees. Then facilitate communication in the workforce. Nothing is as frightening to work no force as change, and nothing changes a workforce as much as re-engineering. So, how you can communicate? It can be communicated through newsletters, maybe videos, letters, email messages, and company-wide and departmental meetings, which are very useful tools in quelling anxiety. Moreover, good communication can help a workforce understand how re-engineering may benefit it in future. So, what we can say that HR has a very crucial role to play in implementing the re-engineering and process in the organization. But there are certain variables which are essential for making the BPR successful. It is no doubt HR has very crucial role to play in implementing and making employees comfortable with the BPR, but still there are certain variables that are essential for making the BPR successful. Now, first is management competence. Management competence is the core part of HRM. It means upgrade the competencies of staff of the HR department, and by making the HR team efficient, the further workforce will also be motivated and enhanced. So, management competencies, it plays a very vital role in the effectiveness of BPR. BPR will be successful after removing certain barriers from the organization. Otherwise, it will lead to the organization towards the very very risky stage. As I said that when you go for BPR, there is very very high risk involved in it, and there's very cost which is involved in it. So before going for BPR, one must think whether we are competent enough to have new processes in the place. Then teamwork. Teamwork is effective for implementing BPR successfully. It also comes under the dimensions of HRM, that how much the organization is successful in making the teams and enabling them to work efficiently. As the workforce is dynamic and the global, business has given the opportunity of laborers to work outside the boundaries. So, building teams will be effective for the organizations where different individuals and the team member pool different and innovative ideas. And this team building technique is very much effective during bringing such radical changes. Then, another variable which is required to support your BPR is organization structure. Sorry. Organization structure is responsible for almost all the activities done in the organization. It includes supervision, task allocation, workforce environment, maybe rules, regulations, and in short, the overall culture of the organization. So it depends on the structure of the organization, that how much is making its workforce competent. It includes the approaches and styles of its operation, which depends upon the objectives of the organization, whether the organization is mechanistic, whether it is organic, whether we have formal, informal, whether we have high, tall. In fact, all these will have a huge impact on the BPR. So it can be virtual networking in the form of a team. In making the BPR successful, this variable plays a significant role, as the flow of information depends on the structure, which leads towards communication between all the members of the organization. Then, similarly, hierarchy system is responsible. The vertical and horizontal hierarchies are responsible for developing the pattern of flexibility within all the team members, and they accept the change willingly. Then communication. Communication is the key factor in the successful of any organization, and similarly at the time of bringing dramatic and radical changes in the organization. Communication becomes necessity. In every organization, different type of barriers are there which make the communication ineffective. It can be emotional, language, psychological, cultural, and physical or any. So the organizations and the top management is responsible for establishing such a culture where the environment is relaxed and everyone is free to communicate. And at the time of implementing change in the organization, whether it is TQM or any other management tool, such as the barrier, such type of barriers should be eliminated, and especially in BPR, where the level of risk is high and the processes are going to change totally. So employees at all level members have different queries, and by providing clear path and giving reliable and authentic information, the level of reluctance will be reduced, because when you go for implementing BPR, there is quite possible that the anxiety and there would be anxiety among the employees, and fear of unknown, that what will happen next. So that has to be overcome only through the effective communication from the HR side. Then information technology, as the use of IT is essential for almost every organization, and the advancement of the technology enables the organization to use many powerful softwares and other programs, which enables the organizations to save their time as well as cost. So in BPR, the role of IT is also essential. It can be in the form of transforming the manual systems into IT based methods, or taking the use of IT and change processes. So, through all these variables, if all these variables are supporting for the BPR, your organization is definitely going to have a implementation of BPR in a very successful manner. So, this was all about BPR. Thank you.